Let's start with the first step in the transforming phase. Our first goal is to get all the information organized in columns. So we want to see all the information organized in vertical ways. And we want to put the titles of each column on the first row, on the title row. So you see here on the title row, column 1, column 2, column 3, that already indicates that those are not the suitable titles. If you look carefully to the data, you see that the actual titles are on row 2. So what we have to do here is we're going to click twice on first row as headers. You see here the button use first row as headers. You can just click on it and then you see all the information moved one row up. The same button, use first row as headers, you can find it in over here, right? And also in the transform tab, use first row as headers. So I'm going to click on it again. Now this is what information should look like. It's presented in columns vertically, and the title of each column is clearly on the first row. You noticed how every step we took is recorded here in this applied steps. If you want to undo a step, you simply click on the cross to get back to the previous step. What happened automatically was the type was changed, but we will get into that later on. I just want to show you the other option of use first row as headers. It's the other way around, use headers as first row. So if you click on this, a new row will be added and you will see that the titles become column 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. That's something we do not want. So I'm gonna delete that step. All right, let's move to the second sheet. We see here some information in the beginning on top of the table about the data that was extracted. We don't need it. One option is to click several times on use first row as headers, but we're a bit too lazy for that, so we're gonna delete the first 4 rows. Let's have a look if I can find it here. Yes, there it is. Remove top rows. I'm sure there's another way to do this. Over here in the home ribbon, it also says remove top rows. So let's do it this way. How many rows do we want to delete? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the titles begin. So we're gonna remove 4 rows. Perfect. Now I need the first row as headers. There you go. A beautiful table organized vertically. Transposing means twisting the data 90 degrees. You see the information is presented horizontally in rows, right? You see in here, you see all the titles, right? So the family names are over here. They are presented horizontally, the first names too, the gender too, etc. So transposing is done in the transform tab. Let's click on transpose, and you will see that the data, instead of presenting it horizontally, is now presented vertically in columns, just the way we want it to be. Let's put the titles where they belong. Perfect. Now this is the most complicated transformation of putting the data in columns. This is called unpivoting. Let me first put the first row as headers. There you go. The thing is, if there are several data of the same type spread across different columns, we want them to be in one single column. So in this case, we see grades in the second column, there's grades in the third column, and grades in the fourth column. All the grades need to be in one column, and then all the subject names need to be in another one. So you select all the columns you want to put into one column. I do this while I hold control, right? So you select one, you hold control on your keyboard, and then you click on the titles of the other columns. Another way is you select the first one, you hold shift, and you select the last one. This is handy if there's many columns where it's a bit too tiring to select all of them one by one. All right, we've selected the columns we want to unpivot. Have a careful look what's going to happen. So Power BI will put all the grades in one column, and then in the other column it will indicate which subject it is. Let's look for unpivot columns. It's over here. Maybe it's also over here. Let's have a look. No, it's not. All right. We select the 3 columns. We click on unpivot columns, and there you go. We see all the subject titles in one column and all the grades in a different column. You see also that the titles are attributed automatically by Power BI, so it's a good thing to already adjust it before we forget what this was about. So these were the grades. Double click, and this was the subject. Actually, changing the title names is a different step. Okay, let's have a look at this one. Well, first of all, I see that the information is presented horizontally again. So let me first transpose. There you go. The first row are the titles. And here we see that there's empty cells. I'm gonna open a second the Excel sheet to see what happened, or to show you what happened. So this is actually the data we're talking about. What happened is that Power BI does not know the concept of merged cells. So it splits the cells automatically into separate cells. So here we see that Gutierrez and Hafizi, they belong both to Australia, and they're both female. Silic, Divares, Johnson, Lemons, etc., they're all female and they're all from Belgium. All right. So we want Belgium to be in all of these cells, and we want female also to be in all of these cells, right? And the same thing for Australia, and the same thing for female here. All right. That seems like a lot of work, but luckily there's an easy function for this in Power BI. Where were we? We were over here. The function is called fill. The only thing you need to indicate is whether you want to fill up or fill down. So let's have a look at the data. We want Hafizi and Gutierrez to be Australia and female. We want Selig, Divares, Johnson, Lemons, etc. to be Belgium. So Belgium has to be filled down, and female has to be filled down. So we want all the data of country to be filled downwards. There you go. And the same thing for gender. There you go. That's it.